What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. So in today's video, this is kind of like a series that, you know, I know a couple people have done something similar to this in the past, but I still get comments to this day whenever like a new legend comes out. Not even just like a new legend, just people will just tweet me or send me messages about a certain legend and they say, I've got these characters, what can I build with them, what kind of team can I make? So what I hope to achieve in this series is to try and give you guys some pointers and give you guys just some tips of some characters that you can use with characters that just come out, so that you guys can, you know, if you do pull them, or if you ever pull them in the future, you know how to go about building teams for these specific characters. Now, I think I've kind of started off with a little bit of a difficult legend, because this character in particular is one of those characters where it's just legit, it's free game. You can literally run anything you want with this character. So as you can see here, we are going to be going through the brand newly released on global gear for Luffy. So you can see his captain effect on the side there. I have also made a breakdown video, so make sure to click the card at the top of the video to actually like just go over there if you want to see like a full in-depth analysis and my thoughts and opinions on this character. Go check out that video. But essentially, he's a rainbow captain. You can run any character in the game on this character's team, and that's one of the great things about this character. Honestly, it's the best thing about this character, because you can run anything you want, and it enables you to basically be so versatile and clear anything that you really need to clear, because you can just run all the utility units you need to bring with this character. And the good thing about him is because he is rainbow, right, and you can bring everyone. Sometimes with rainbow teams in particular, it can be quite difficult to build rainbow teams, because you do have to bring a type booster, you still have to bring your orb booster, and some of those units obviously are going to be like specific to certain classes. Like some units only boost certain orbs for certain characters, and same with their type boosts. But the thing about this team with Gear 4 Luffy is the fact that he is his own crew's type booster. He is a 2x type boost to all units on your crew. And that's the great thing here, is that, you know, because he is the crew's type booster, finding universal orb boosters are a lot easier than finding universal type boosters. So the fact that he is a universal type booster means you can run just like a universal orb booster, or you can build specific classes around Gear 4 and stuff like that. You know, obviously because he is a quick, he is a free spirit, and he is a fighter unit. So you can run like a quick team, like a quick side team with Kuzan and stuff like that. You could run a free spirit team with Luffy and Ace. You could run a fighter team with V2 Sanji. Like, there are so many good friend captains you could run. Like, Sanji is a really good choice. Like, if you don't own Gear 4 yourself, you can run like your own Sanji captain with a friend Gear 4 and still build really good teams with it. And a lot of people ask me, you know, which unit is better, you know, V2 Sanji or Gear 4? Definitely Gear 4, as in terms of just a pure fighter captain, I still believe Gear 4 is a much better unit. But Sanji, in the fact that he is Sanji and what he does, he can actually output more damage than Gear 4, but Gear 4 with his defensive capabilities, the fact that he gives you so many matching orbs, his type boosting with his special is not a conditional thing, it will always occur. So for more reliability, Gear 4 is definitely the better choice, but if you are looking for straight up damage output, Sanji is definitely going to be the better choice. But that's just in terms of fighter teams specifically. As I said, you can run Luffy and Ace, who is a really good call here as well. Luffy and Ace, so either that one. But the thing is, you gotta remember is that if you are building a free spirit team and you do want to use this Gear 4 Luffy, you can't actually put this guy as like a crew member, or, you know, vice versa. You can't have this guy as your captain and then have this guy as a sub, because obviously he's a Luffy character. You can't overlap the Luffy characters. So either if you have your own Luffy and Ace and you want to build a free spirit team, you can bring along a friend Gear 4 and vice versa, and that works really well because you've got your 2x type booster and you've got your 2x orb booster. So you can run some really cool teams, you know, with that. Another character that's also really good with Gear 4 is Legend Frankie. Now, he doesn't have his 6+ on global yet, but the thing about Frankie is he's kind of like the exact same as this character, except he has some like minor differences. He's a little bit more restrictive, of course, but he is also a 2x type booster for his crew. He has his captain action, of course, so you can run some pretty cool teams. You know, if you have Frankie and you want to run a really powerful team, Gear 4 is a great counterpart captain for Legend Frankie. And another character that's also really good for this is also Lucy. So Lucy, as we all know, is a Strength Dex and Quick boosting captain, so you can run a full Strength Dex and Quick team with a Gear 4 friend captain, and that will still work quite well as well. Again, it's a little bit more restrictive. You obviously, Gear 4 can run anyone that you want, but with Lucy, you know, you are a little bit more restricted with to 3 separate colors. But those 3 are definitely great friend captains for Gear 4, or of course, the standard double Gear 4 will also suffice for clearing content as well. Now, the thing about Gear 4, right, is the fact that you want to try and get as many recovery orbs as possible so you can eat the recovery orbs and level up his gauge so you can get to his Tankman version, which is his best version of the Gear 4 transformation for this character. So that you've got the Bounce Man form, which will happen all the time whenever you transform into Gear 4, and once you eat at least 10 recovery orbs throughout the run and then you transform into Gear 4, you will become Tank Man. So the main target with this character is to get as many meat orbs as possible, or hit as many perfects as possible before you transform, to make sure that you do get into Tank Man form. Now, there's actually a couple characters that can enable you to get a lot of recovery orbs very, very quickly. One of the new characters that came out, Chobro, is fantastic. Wild Sanji is another one. We also have, I've written them all down here, Dex Shirahoshi is another amazing unit to run with Gear 4 here. And there is another one who is not that good, but still actually does provide the same mechanic here. So with this chopper unit, basically all these units that I've listed right here, all of these characters have the same sailor ability. When you start the adventure, you get a full board of recovery orbs. So that's obviously great for Gear 4 because you want to eat those recovery orbs to level up his gauge and to get him to Tank Man as quick as possible. So Margaret isn't really that great for what she does. She heals and she also reduces damage for one turn. So she wouldn't really be one of the best targets for this. But the other three have really good special abilities. You got Sanji, who's a 2.5 chain locker, obviously available from the Rayleigh shop. And then you have the two rare recruit characters here in Chobro, who I think is the best option for most cases. He has amazing utility of reducing defense, which then you can run another unit like Carrot to get the conditional boost from the new batch. Also, you've got the ability to remove threshold damage reduction and enrage, and he also makes certain colored orbs beneficial as well. So you can partner this orb beneficial enabling with Gear 4 to get a full board of matching orbs, as well as, so many other great effects with this chopper. So this chopper is probably the best unit to run with this Gear 4, but this Shirahoshi is also a fantastic unit because she reduces paralysis, she reduces special bind, and attack down. Three very, very annoying debuffs that she can just remove, as well as healing as well. So she's one of the better units as well. And the thing with Gear 4 is obviously you want to be healing as much as possible with those recovery orbs to level up his gauge. She gets rid of paralysis, which can kind of hinder the eating of recovery orbs. So I think Shirahoshi is definitely like equal best with Chopper in terms of her utility and what she provides for your team when you're running Gear 4. But that's the thing, right, is it really comes down to what content you're facing as to like what type of units you should be running on a Gear 4 team. Like over here on the database, the link to the database of course will be down below in the description. Make sure to go ahead and check this out because this is honestly been the best resource for team building in One Piece Treasure Cruise. Because what you can do is hypothetically, if let's say a boss has like a poison and you need a poison remover, so you can go ahead and filter through what you actually need to, get rid of any specific debuffs that you need to get around. So we can click poison remover and we can sort by, certain classes or types, their stats. You can sort by their specific classes here. So we can go like, let's say we want a cerebral unit that gets rid of it. And you see there's so many different units here that you can go through and check to see, are there a poison remover. So we can check this chopper here. We can see he removes poison completely, and he heals a little bit as well. So if you specifically need a poison remover, you can just, look through here and click whatever debuff you need to get rid of, and then you can chuck it on this team and check the damage output to make sure you can actually kill the room. So utilizing the database for Gear 4 is very, very important just because you are limited to literally like everything. You need to make sure you can actually see what the boss does, see what you need to bring to counter exactly what the dungeon does, and then you can run it on a Gear 4 team. Now, some other people might have some other legend characters that they might want to run with Gear 4. Some of the best legend characters that I've seen thus far that are really good with Gear 4 is obviously Nami, just came out as well, who is an affinity booster as well as being an orb booster, so she is such a fantastic unit. Another legend that's great is Legend Garp, who came out not that long ago on Global, but he does a health cut. He will go ahead and do the 3x chain lock, which is immensely powerful, and also remove special bind, where he also reduces special bind on himself, so you can help get rid of that on your crew. So I think Garp is one of the better choices for Gear 4 as well. We also have Corazon. Now Corazon's an interesting one because on Global, Corazon isn't really that useful, but once he gets his 6+, which should be relatively soon on Global, he heals a lot more, he gets rid of a bunch of debuffs as well. So I think Corazon's definitely going to be another key unit that people should be looking out for specifically, not even just for Gear 4 teams, but just in terms of how good the unit is. Law's also a good choice because you can partner Law with a character like this, and you can do some pretty crazy shenanigans, because you can get the ability to use V2 Doflamingo special through all the defensive effects. And that's one of the big negatives to V2 Doflamingo, is the fact that a lot of bosses these days have revivals or barriers to where you can't really use his special to its fullest potential. But if you have access to a character like Law to make it go through barriers and other defensive effects, this is going to be so crazy. So as long as you bring he's already a type booster and he gives you a lot of orbs, so bring like an orb booster or someone else to get rid of certain debuffs, and yeah, this is going to be a crazy team. You know, I have seen people use a team like this before, and it works really, really well. So those two characters in particular are good. You don't even need Law on the team. Like, if you can already use Doflamingo, you know, you can run a Gear 4 team with Doflamingo as a sub, and it works really well. Same goes for Mihawk as well. Mihawk, kind of a character that's kind of outshadowed, but he does the same kind of thing to Doflamingo, of course. And also another character I think is great that a lot of people will kind of forget about is V2 Rayleigh, who you don't even have to be below 30% for his special ability to really activate, because when you're above that threshold, he still gives you the fixed damage, the 1.75 orb boost, and the chain lock. So I think that, you know, this Rayleigh is great, obviously, because you want to be running an orb boost with Gear 4 for most cases, and Rayleigh provides that, as well as, you know, some other really cool effects. So I think Rayleigh is a very, very good option in terms of legend characters to run with Gear 4, but as I said, you can literally run anyone you want, just making sure you go to the database and you can filter through, you know, what certain debuffs you need to get rid of. Like threshold damage reduction is one of the most annoying debuffs to get around in the game, and there's so many other characters that can help you get rid of that. You know, you can just filter through here and then put them on your team, and then you're good to go, really. Because Gear 4 is just an immensely powerful unit that gives you the 4x type boost as Gear 4. He gives you the matching orbs, of course. He gives you the 2x type boost. There's not really much wrong with Gear 4. Just as long as you are checking what the boss does, you're going to be going pretty well. But that's pretty much all I really wanted to say in terms of Gear 4, because, as I said, Gear 4 is such an ambiguous unit because you can literally run anything, and there aren't that many units that you really can't run on a Gear 4 team. Obviously, if they get a special that limits, you know, as long as your captain is a certain class or a certain color, do X specific thing. Obviously, you can't run those type of units, but for most cases, you can just put together a random team and go ham on that specific piece of content, as long as, you know, they're actually pretty decently powerful units. But one of the main things with Gear 4 is because he's the type booster, you need an affinity booster, maybe, depends on the content, or booster, depends on the content, because in terms of orb manipulation, you don't really need that much, because he is, you know, he gives you those matching orbs, unless if they give you like a full board of block orbs, that might be a case, and then you can bring a block orb remover. So you can just go to here, you can go to, let's clear the filters, you can go to the orb controllers. So you can click block orbs, and then they'll have a whole bunch of units that remove block orbs. So specifically, Dark King Rayleigh, as long as you're below that threshold, will change block orbs as well. Obviously, Big Mom Treasure Map, who is just coming up, she is a fantastic unit, and actually will partner really well in Gear 4 teams, to be quite honest. Dex Cavendish, another really good unit, removes block orbs and also is a conditional booster. So if you have someone to reduce defense, like the rare recruit Chopper Chobro, that can also work quite well if you need to get rid of block orbs. So there's so many different options that Gear 4 has, and that is why he is considered widely by many people to be the best unit in the game, because you can run anything that you want, and you do a lot of damage, and you can beat it pretty easily. So that's been the whole rundown of this Gear 4 character. Once we, you know, get into other different legends in different videos where they're a little bit more restrictive, we can build specific teams for specific pieces of content. I think that'll be a lot better, but just because Gear 4 is such an ambiguous unit and you can run anything you want, it's a little harder to, like, narrow down, you know, a Gear 4 team, because obviously you can't really build one team to take on everything, because it depends on what the content does. You're going to need different characters. So for Gear 4 specifically, because he is a unit that can literally go against just about everything, you can run anything, and it's hard to go through every single unit in the game and every single team in the game for this unit. But once we get to characters that are a little bit more restrictive and a little bit more narrow-minded into specifically what they need to build for, those videos are going to be a little bit more informative, I guess, for you guys. But for Gear 4 specifically, as long as you are utilizing certain resources by the community, building a Gear 4 team will not be that difficult. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. If you guys have, make sure to smack the like button, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.